Please adhere to YouTube's selected guidelines before viewing the content of this video. I do not encourage or condone any products, actions, or behaviors shown in this video. All videos are produced in a safe, professional, and controlled environment. Please do not attempt to replicate any actions performed during the video. All actions are performed by professionals.
Alrighty, so today I'm going to be smoking and reviewing the Berley Red full-flavored cigarettes, which I will admit have some badass packaging. This red logo on the black background looks so good, it looks so badass, and I really do love it. But just because I love the packaging does not mean that I'm going to love this pack of cigarettes right here. And honestly, I am not expecting to really enjoy the Berley Reds all that much, just simply because, well, they are produced by Xcaliber. I've previously tried a couple other cigarettes that were produced by Xcaliber, and I wasn't a fan of any of them, honestly. I didn't really like any of them. All of them were not really particularly good. They were okay for the price, I guess, kind of thing, but they certainly were not particularly good in any real fashion. So as such, I am just expecting more of the same from this pack of cigarettes right here, sadly. Even though the packaging is so good, and I wish I could just say that I was expecting these to be fantastic, I am not expecting these to be fantastic. But what are my real expectations for, well, the Berley Red full-flavored cigarettes? Well, my expectations are pretty simple. I think they're going to taste a lot like, well, just a normal budget cigarette made by Xcaliber. I'm expecting them to be more sour than sweet, and I'm expecting there to be some paper-like taste, and I'm also expecting there to be some chemical taste coming from the tobacco itself. I'm definitely not expecting the most pleasant taste in the world, that is for sure. Body-wise, though, I am expecting a pretty big body because, well, this is a full-flavored king-size pack of cigarettes. I see no reason why it wouldn't be why it wouldn't have a pretty big body. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. And roughness and smoothness wise, I am definitely expecting these to be on the rougher side, but I'm not expecting them to be extraordinarily rough or anything like that, that is for sure. But those are pretty much my expectations for, well, the Berley Red full-flavored cigarettes. Without further ado, it is now time for me to, well, go ahead and hop into the packaging of this pack of cigarettes right here. After I go over the packaging, I'm going to go ahead and get the cellophane all off, go ahead and get this pack of cigarettes all opened up, go ahead and let you guys know what the cigarettes look like, what they feel like, and what the quality of them is like. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and get one of the Berley Red full-flavored cigarettes all lit up and go ahead and let you guys know what I actually think of, well, this pack of cigarettes right here and whether I was right in thinking that they're not very good. But first off, I'm getting my words all jumbled up already, you know what I'm saying? But first off, I gotta go ahead and go over the packaging, which, as said at the beginning of this video, looks just completely badass. I think it looks super distinct from a distance. I mean, like the black with the red logo looks amazing, and I love it, I ain't gonna lie. And up close, it looks just as good, you know what I'm saying? There's not really a lot of super cool details or anything like that kind of thing, but just the black with the red looks so badass, and I really do like it. I'm just gonna go ahead and start off with the actual black background, though, because we can see it's not actually a fully black background, because there are a bunch of lines going horizontally across the packaging of the cigarette pack. We can see those lines they're not actually like, I would definitely have to say they're not quite solid lines. It's more like they're like, I definitely have to say like twine or string kind of thing, where they go thick, thin, thick, thing, and thick, thing, and thick, thinging. Thick, thin, thick, thin, thick, thin, where they kind of do that kind of thing. I don't know if you guys can actually see that on camera, but that's kind of how it appears in real life. I ain't gonna lie, it is a very interesting look, but I definitely have to say the color of the lines going across the actual pack of cigarettes very much are just sort of a very light gray color, but that's pretty much all there is to the background. In all honesty, it's pretty much just the black background with light gray lines going across horizontally, and that's really all there is to it. There's no other special details or anything like that kind of thing. So as such, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the actual Berley logo itself, which I will admit is a pretty cool look. Looks like they just wrote out Berley in Times New Roman, set it to red, and then put on some drop shadows and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Certainly no complaints on my behalf. The red does look absolutely fantastic with the lines going across and with the black background. I love how it looks, and I do find it very interesting that the Berley just goes right through these lines right here, whereas this text right here actually doesn't go through the lines at all, but I'll be getting to that in just a minute. But we can just see the Berley logo right here. As said, it's just red text, and it's just got a very nice, very light gray drop shadow. I definitely have to say, yeah, just a very nice light gray drop shadow. That's pretty much all there is to it. The light gray looks like about the same light gray that these lines up here are made of. And then we can just see there's a little bit of a trademark symbol right here. Overall, a pretty cool look. Not the most unique look for the actual logo of the cigarettes or anything like that kind of thing, that is for sure, but a pretty nice look nonetheless. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Under the Berley right here, though, we can just see it just says red. There's no sort of drop shadow, no sort of shading, nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? It just says red right there. And I definitely have to say, is that a slightly different that red, I want to say, a slightly different red than the actual Berley logo itself, which is very interesting, I ain't gonna lie. And below the red right here, we can just see there's like 2 lines that are made up of that very light silver color. Well, they are made up of that very light silver color at the bottom, and then they kind of go to red, and then they kind of go back to that silver color. And we can just see in the middle right here, there's a little bit of a sun right here with all the spikes sticking out and everything like that kind of thing. Very deep, dark red in the middle, and then very light red around the edges. Very interesting design, I ain't gonna lie, and a pretty good look, that is for sure. This is really one of the only cool details I definitely have to say there is on this packaging, but I am a pretty big fan of how this design looks, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Next to the 2 lines with the sun on it and everything like that kind of thing, we could just see in silver once again, it just says blended toasted tobaccos. Do I think they're blended toasted tobaccos? I think they're blended for sure. Do I think they're toasted? No. I do not really think these are actually going to be toasted. I think if they are going to be toasted, they're not going to taste like they're toasted because it's going to be such low quality where I can't tell. Yeah, I don't really think that that's going to make a difference, in all honesty. I saw this pack for the first time before realizing that these were made by Xcaliber, and I was like, oh, you know, toasted tobacco, maybe it'll taste like a Lucky Strike or something like that kind of thing. That would be really cool. I'm not expecting that. I'm certainly not expecting that. That is for sure. But one thing that is significant about the blended toasted tobacco right here is that it is actually the only text on the front of the packaging that actually gets the lines to stop going across. It's very interesting. Not for the Berley logo up here, not for the red, not for the sun, not for the 20 Class A cigarettes in white down here. This is the only text on the front of the packaging where the lines actually stop for, which is very, very, very interesting. That is for sure. But that's pretty much all there is to the front of the packaging. There's really not much to it. As said, the Berley logo itself pretty much just looks like they took Times New Roman, shoved everything a little bit more together, added a little bit of a gray drop shadow, and that's pretty much how it be. You know what I'm saying? A decent look, pretty distinct from a distance, if I do say so myself. The black with the red is definitely a very distinct look, a very unique look, not a look you see on a lot of other packs of cigarettes, and as such, I am a pretty big fan of it, but there's just not a lot of very cool details up close. Really, the only cool detail really is right here with these 2 lines in the sun and the blended toasted tobaccos right there, but there's really not much going on this packaging, I ain't gonna lie. But because of that reason, it's a very simple look that honestly looks really good from a distance. It looks really good close up. There's just not a lot going on, but I definitely have to say it's a more simple look than a lot of other packs of cigarettes, that is for sure. There's just not a lot of stuff going on. It's definitely not minimalist in my personal opinion, but it is a more simple look than a lot of other packs of cigarettes on the market today. But I think that's just about all I wanted to say about the front of the packaging. I remembered to talk about whether it's simple or complex or minimalist. I remembered to talk about how distinct it is from a distance, which it is pretty distinct from a distance, I ain't gonna lie. So I think I covered everything I wanted to cover about the front of the packaging. So as such, it is now time for me to go ahead and move on to the back of the packaging. Oh wait, it just looks exactly like the front. Yeah, there's nothing to cover. In all honesty, there's nothing to cover. It's literally just the exact same as the front of the packaging. Taking a look just real quick, we can tell that the Berley logo on the back is slightly lower than the Berley logo on the front, but it really doesn't make that big of a difference. It's this exact same. It's the exact same. There are no differences between the front of the packaging and the back of the packaging, which is certainly not a bad thing. Do I like seeing differences between the front of the packaging and the back of the packaging? I certainly do, don't get me wrong. But having the same design all the way around works pretty good most of the time. If you have your pack like this, you still know it's your Berleys. If you have your pack like this, you still know it's your Berleys. It works, in all honesty, you know what I'm saying? It does indeed work, in all honesty. And one thing that I do want to mention that is significant is that I love packaging that wraps all the way around. And this packaging, technically speaking at least, does wrap all the way around because of the horizontal lines going all the way across the front of the packaging, the side of the packaging, the back of the packaging, the side of the packaging, and the front of the packaging. Those lines wrap all the way around. And honestly, I love it, you know what I'm saying? I love seeing packaging wrap all the way around. I love seeing designs wrapped all the way around the packaging, to say it correctly. And they certainly did do a pretty good job with this, although certainly not to the extent as some other companies do. I'm still happy to see it rather than not seeing it. Let me put it that way, you know what I'm saying? But as said, that's pretty much the back of the packaging. It's pretty much just it's pretty much just the front of the packaging on the back of the packaging instead. I mean, like, tell me what the difference is. There is no difference. It's exactly the same, you know what I'm saying? So as such, without further ado, I do think I'm going to go ahead and now cover the side of the packaging with the barcode on it right here, you know what I'm saying? At the top right here, of course, we can just see there's a lot of lines going over this side of the packaging. As said, the lines stretch all the way around the packaging, you know what I'm saying? So of course, they're going to be stretching around this side as well. We can just see the Berley logo right here, pretty much just looking like a miniature version of the logo on the front of the packaging. It just says Berley right there. There is indeed a very light gray drop shadow. I ain't gonna lie, very small gray drop shadow, and it does indeed still say trademark right there, which I find funny, although the trademark is almost invisible. And then below the Berley right there, we can just see it just says red right there. Not much to it, you know what I'm saying? Just says Berley Red, just so if you're looking at the side of the packaging, you know that these are indeed the Berley Reds, you know what I'm saying? Under all of that right there, though, we could just see it just says that these are manufactured by Xcaliber International Ltd, 1 Tobacco Road, Pryor, Oklahoma, 74361, made in USA. And while I'm typically a big fan of made in USA stuff, I don't think that this is going to be one of the products that I'm a fan of. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. But that's just white text, no sort of borders, no sort of drop shadows, nothing like that, you know what I'm saying? That is indeed just white text. Of course, under that on the barcode in black text, we can just see, of course, that these are indeed FSC compliant, and then we can just see the barcode right here. And that's pretty much all there is to this side of the packaging. Taking a look at the other side of the packaging, we can just see that it just says up here, underage sale prohibited, just in white, and then we can just see the Surgeon General warning right here, which I will find, I will admit, this is one thing that while I was taking a look at the packaging, this is probably the thing that surprised me the most. There's a lot of different cigarette packages that have horizontal lines going across the packaging. It's not a super uncommon design characteristic of cigarette packs, let me put it that way. But most of them have a little square right here where the lines stop or something like that kind of thing. Most of them. I think there's maybe been one other that doesn't do that, but the vast majority of the cigarette packs that have lines going horizontally across all the way around the cigarette pack and everything like that have a square around the Surgeon General warning right here. This pack doesn't do that. They said, we don't give a frick. It's just going, those lines are going right under the Surgeon General warning and right, and the Surgeon General warning just says cigarette smoke contains carbon monoxide. It does indeed. That's why I smoke cigarettes. So I don't know why they're just stating that for me, you know what I'm saying? But I just find it so interesting that Xcaliber was just like, you know what? We don't give a single frick kind of thing. Federal government, come after us, you know what I'm saying? Come after us. We ain't putting a square around this, you know what I'm saying? You want to say that these lines are disruptive? Well, we say they're not, you know what I'm saying? We say they're not. I do find that pretty interesting, and I really do think that most of the cigarette designs that I've seen previously, the cigarette pack designs that I've seen previously that put a square around the Surgeon General warning, they're probably not required to. They just want to do it to avoid any legal conflict, which is perfectly understandable, but I guess Xcaliber just really don't care, in all honesty. But in all honesty also, the lines are not all that distracting kind of thing. They're very, very, very sort of a dull, light gray, I definitely have to say, and this is literally just white text, so it's not distracting at all. But I do still find it very amusing, and it is very different from what I'm used to seeing from cigarette packs with horizontal lines going all across them. But that's pretty much all there is to every side of the packaging besides, well, the top and the bottom. So as such, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys both the top and the bottom. The top of the packaging we just see has a miniature version of the Berley logo, just red text, sort of like gray drop shadow, I definitely have to say, with the lines going all over it horizontally and everything like that kind of thing. Says red down here in a slightly darker red than the actual Berley Red, I definitely have to say. And overall, it's pretty much just a miniature version of the logo on the back and the front of the packaging. Taking a look at the bottom of the packaging, we can see it's exactly the same as the top of the packaging. There is no differences. There's a little bit of an Indiana tax label right here. And one thing I completely forgot to say at the beginning of this video is that this pack of cigarettes, that was a good reminder to me, that this pack of cigarettes was sent in by Fred Scott. Thank you very much to Fred Scott for sending this pack of cigarettes over to my P.O. Box for me to review. I really, really, really do appreciate it. I've been looking forward to reviewing these, so thank you very much to Fred Scott for sending this pack of cigarettes over to my P.O. Box. I cannot believe I forgot to say that at the beginning of the video. But that's pretty much all there is to the packaging, in all honesty. There really is not much more to it. I'm glad it has the stamp down here, though, because otherwise I would have probably forgotten to thank you very much once again, Fred Scott, for sending this pack of cigarettes over, but I would have probably completely forgotten to thank him if this tax stamp wasn't on here. But that's pretty much all there is to the actual design of this packaging. It's a very simple look, a pretty badass look in my personal opinion. I'm like red on black. You really can't beat it, but there's really not a lot going on, in all honesty. There's really not a lot going on. It's a pretty simple look. It's definitely not minimalist by any means, but there's just not a lot of details. There's not a lot going on. It's a very simple look, but a pretty distinct look from a distance and a pretty distinct look up close as well. And overall, this pack overall has been pretty memorable. I remember seeing one of these packs of cigarettes on the r/cigarette subreddit I want to say a year or two ago. And honestly, since that point, I've actually been looking for these up until the point where Fred Scott sent me this pack of cigarettes over to my P.O. Box, or sent this pack of cigarettes to me through my P.O. Box. I don't know how to say it correctly. Y'all know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm saying. But I actually kept an eye out for this pack of cigarettes because it was just that memorable of a piece of packaging to me. And I really do think the most memorable thing about this packaging really is honestly just the color palette, black and red. You can't get any more badass than that. And honestly, you don't see a lot of packaging. You don't see a lot of cigarette packs that have black and red on them. What am I thinking? Marlboro Red? American Spirit Black? Or sorry, did I say Marlboro Red? Did I say Marlboro Black? American Spirit Black? And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't really think there's any other packaging that has like distinctly black on it. And even the Marlboro Blacks don't really have like a lot of black on them kind of thing. It's really just like the top with some red and everything like that kind of thing. The American Spirit Blacks are probably like the most comparable packaging to this right here, even though the American Spirit packs have a lot more detail on it. Just a completely different design, but just color-wise, they're a lot more similar to this pack right here. But this has just been a super memorable pack design to me, and honestly, I am a huge fan of how this pack looks, and I hope that I can at least be somewhat of a fan of how the cigarettes are as well. But without further ado, it is now time for me to go ahead and get the cellophane all off of the Berley Red full-flavored cigarettes, and go ahead and actually let you guys know what the cigarettes look like, what they feel like, and what the quality of them is like. So let's just go ahead and get this pack of cigarettes, and I will admit, this pack just looks even better with the cellophane all off. I ain't gonna lie, y'all, it really does just look fantastic. I love the look of it. The overall texture of the pack, there's no sort of embossment or anything like that kind of thing. It's pretty much just printed on paperboard. That's pretty much just the texture that I was expecting, and it's the texture I got, I ain't gonna lie. It's sort of like semi-glossy, semi-matte, printed on paperboard sort of texture. No surprise, it's a budget pack of cigarettes, so it has a budget pack of cigarettes type of texture, you know what I'm saying? But let's just go ahead and get this pack of cigarettes all open up and go ahead and take a look at the inside. No text or anything on the top of the cigarette lid right here. The insert is pretty basic. It's just a white insert, you know what I'm saying? Nothing special. Would have been pretty cool to have a black insert, but that really is a shame. And then we could just see silver right here that says pull. The silver is very nice. It looks to be a slightly lighter version of the blended toasted tobaccos down here, of these two lines right here, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe actually about the same, I ain't gonna lie. I do quite like how the silver looks, I ain't gonna lie, y'all, but let's go and see how easily this pulls out. Pulls out pretty well, certainly no complaints on my behalf. And let's go ahead and get one of the, okay. All right, this is surprising me right off the bat. This is actually surprising me right off the bat. Not only is the packaging fantastic, this cigarette looks fantastic as well. We can just see cork style filter, basic white, just normal cigarette paper and everything like that kind of thing. But the cork style filter says Berley over and over and over again. So the normal color of the actual filter itself is sort of that very dark cork look. And then we just see a lighter beige that says Berley, 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 over and over and over and over again. And I love that. I ain't gonna lie, y'all, it just says Berley over and over and over again. You can't beat it. This is actually a really unique look for a cigarette. And something that I'm actually extremely surprised by. I'm actually really surprised that Xcaliber has put this level of detail and this level of effort into this pack of cigarettes right here. This must be one of their top selling brands or something like that kind of thing. I really have no clue though. But man, oh man, cannot complain about that look. That looks pretty cool. And that is a really unique look, especially in the United States. Like, if I was in Mexico, this wouldn't be the most unique look in the world, I ain't gonna lie. But in the United States, this is a hugely unique look. No packs of cigarettes really do this. This is so cool, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I love seeing it. I love seeing it. Are there any lines of perforation, though? It's getting darker out here, I ain't gonna lie. It is currently 5 o'clock. It's getting darker out here, that is for sure. Are there any lines of perforation? I cannot see any. I cannot see any lines of perforation. But man, oh man, that filter looks so cool. Such a unique look. Man, I love seeing that. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I absolutely love seeing that. Let's just go ahead and take a look at the actual blend of the tobacco real quick. The blend of the tobacco seems to be a medium blend. I wouldn't really say medium to light. I wouldn't really say medium to dark. It definitely just seems like a medium blend of tobacco, maybe more medium to dark than anything, but definitely mostly just a medium blend, I definitely have to say. And smelling this cigarette right off the bat. I'm gonna go and just smell the inside of the packaging real quick. They do smell good. They smell different than a normal pack of cigarettes. I think that's what's really confusing me right now. Because they smell like they're probably more sweet than sour if I had to guess. but they definitely do smell different than a normal pack of cigarettes I'm used to smoking. Maybe it's because they're toasted tobaccos. Maybe it's because they're toasted tobaccos, but they have a very unique smell to them that I'm gonna go ahead and just smell real quick once again. Smells very interesting, very unique. Certainly no complaints on my behalf, that is for sure. Definitely the smell is more sweet than not. There's not really any sort of distinctly sour smell in there or anything like that kind of thing, but I definitely have to say it's not really sweet enough to make me think this cigarette is going to be fully sweet, that is for sure. I'm definitely still expecting probably mostly sour with some sweetness. If it's mostly sweet with some sour, I wouldn't be surprised though. But overall, these smell really good. A very unique smelling cigarette, I will admit. Certainly no complaints on my behalf, or a very unique smelling cigarette before you get it lit up. I don't know about after you get it lit up, because, well, I haven't lit this up yet. But I do think without further ado, I'm gonna go and just take a sip of water real quick. And I think it is now time. Have I missed covering everything? Anything at all? I covered the actual packaging itself. I covered the inside of the packaging. I covered the texture of the packaging. I covered how the cigarette looks. It's pretty good quality. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I covered the blend. I covered the perforation. I covered the smell. The overall quality of the cigarette overall is pretty much up to par. There are some darker stains on it, but nothing really major or anything like that kind of thing. And as such, I think I've pretty much covered everything I need to cover about, well, the Berley Red full-flavored cigarettes. So as such, I do think, without further ado, it is now time for me to go ahead and get one of the Berley Red full-flavored cigarettes all lit up and go ahead and let you guys know whether these cigarettes right here are any good or not. I really do hope that they are. I love the packaging. As I'm sure you guys can tell, I am a huge fan of the packaging. I love the packaging. I just keep restating that. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. But I really do hope that this cigarette is worth at least something. I hope it's not the worst thing on earth, just because the packaging looks so good. I just don't want this cigarette to suck. And the cigarette itself looks pretty cool as well, kind of thing. I mean, like, you cannot ask for a more unique look for a cigarette in the United States, that is for sure. But I do think without further ado, let's go ahead and get the Berley Red full-flavored cigarette that I have in my hand right here, all lit up, and go ahead and see how it actually is. Without further ado though, let's go and get it lit up. Yes sir, you know what I'm saying? Right off the bat, decent amount of chemical taste coming through. No surprise there, you know what I'm saying? I'm still getting chemical taste coming through, but I'm not sure if it's from my lighter or if it's from the cigarette. I'm thinking it's from the cigarette. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I'm gonna go and grab myself a little bit of a screenshot real quick. Yeah, it's from the cigarette. These are not fantastic. I wouldn't buy them again, just right off the bat. I've taken 4 hits and I wouldn't buy these again. The taste is very disappointing. It's very much a... sour with a little bit of sweetness in there. But honestly, the main taste isn't even the tobacco taste itself. The main taste overall is very much a sour with a slight bit of sweet in there. Not much, though, in all honesty. Mainly a sour taste. But the main taste overall, I think I just had a voice crack real quick. Oh, my goodness. But the main taste overall is not even the tobacco. It's paper. They taste like paper. These have a very strong chemical paper taste, which is a huge disappointment. It's a huge disappointment. Wow. Yeah, huge disappointment. I'm honestly a little bit disappointed right now. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. It is not a very good cigarette. I was a little bit hyped to try it, and I have now been disappointed. It is what it is, though. It is what it is. Let's go and test the body real quick. Body is pretty big, though, as predicted. You know what I'm saying? Body is actually pretty massive, I ain't gonna lie. And smoothness-wise, these definitely are not the roughest things in the world. They're certainly not the smoothest thing in the world either. But they are overall definitely not too rough, that is for sure. I definitely have to say these are probably about a 5 out of 10 for roughness, with 10 being the roughest and 1 being the smoothest, although I do suppose it doesn't really matter if I say it's a 5 out of 10, because then that's just right in the middle either way kind of thing. These certainly are not particularly rough. Let me just put it that way, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I definitely have to say probably about a 5, maybe a 6 out of 10 on the roughness scale. The airflow is pretty good as well. It's a pretty easy draw. I ain't gonna lie, the draw of this cigarette right here is pretty easy. It's just a very light draw kind of thing. You really don't have to work too hard to actually get the smoke out of the cigarette. And overall, it does seem to be burning pretty quickly as well. I ain't gonna lie. Definitely, certainly wouldn't be a bad break cigarette if I do say so myself. Actually, it would be a bad break cigarette because this cigarette isn't very good at all, I ain't gonna lie. But the airflow is pretty good, it's pretty smooth, the body's pretty big, and the taste isn't very good. A lot of those are benefits, but there's that one very large downside. But then you also get the upside of the packaging, and then it's like, I don't know. No, I'm just kidding you. I'm just kidding. I'm just disappointed. Yeah, these are not going to be getting the best rating in the world. Don't get me wrong. They're going to be getting a better rating than not because of the packaging, but I'm very disappointed by the actual cigarette themselves, the cigarettes themselves. It is what it is, though, I do suppose. It is what it is, though. Yeah. Decent amount of tar coming through as well. As we can tell, the filter is definitely picking up a decent amount of tar. Certainly no complaints on my behalf about that. The filter is getting a little bit mushy, but not super mushy or anything like that kind of thing. Not yet, at least, although I am definitely expecting it to get a little bit more mushy as I actually continue to finish off the cigarette. But overall, it's not a bad smoking cigarette kind of thing. It's not a bad quality cigarette. It just doesn't taste good. It tastes like sour paper. That's what it tastes like. It tastes like sour paper. You can barely taste any of the tobacco. There's a little bit of tobacco sweetness in like the back of your throat and on your tongue and stuff like that kind of thing. It's by no means a dynamic taste. It's literally just paper. It's a sour chemical paper taste. That's what you get off of this cigarette right here. It's honestly more of a disappointment than not, which really is a shame. Would I buy a pack of Berley Reds again? No. I would not buy a pack of Berley Reds with my own money. But am I happy to have been able to give these cigarettes right here a review? I am very happy to have been able to get I'm getting my words all jumbled up today, I ain't gonna lie y'all. I am very happy to have been able to give the Berley Red full flavored cigarettes a review. It's a pack of cigarettes I've wanted to review for a while. It is a shame that they're not very good, but that certainly is what it is. It's a budget pack of cigarettes overall. It's a pack of cigarettes made by Xcaliber. I wasn't really expecting them to be very good, but the packaging certainly did have me quite hyped up. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. But I do think without further ado, I'm gonna go and just take a couple more hits, go ahead and let you guys know any other things that I can think of before giving you guys my final thoughts of this cigarette right here. And then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys my final thoughts on, well, the Berley Red full flavored cigarettes. And then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys the rating for this pack of cigarettes. And then after that, I'm gonna go and end the video right there. But without further ado, let's go ahead and, well, finish off this cigarette, unless I have something else to say about it that I think of off the top of my head. Not a great taste. And as we're getting towards the bottom of the cigarette, the taste is just definitely getting more tarry, maybe a little bit more chemically, but not significantly so. But overall, I am just a little bit disappointed, that is for sure. You know what I'm saying? It certainly is what it is. They aren't the greatest cigarettes in the world, but as said, that certainly is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's a budget pack of cigarettes. It's a pretty cheap pack of cigarettes. It's a disappointment. They're not very good. But as said, it is what it is. But I think I'm actually just gonna go ahead and stub out the cigarette real quick. I am pretty buzzed. I ain't gonna lie, I haven't had a cigarette in a while, but I do think without further ado, it is now time for me to go ahead and, well, give you guys my final thoughts on this pack of cigarettes right here, the Berley Red full flavored cigarettes. So, what are my final thoughts on this pack of cigarettes right here, the Berley Red full flavored cigarettes? Well, my final thoughts are not all that positive. I do definitely think that the packaging is fantastic. I really do like the packaging. The packaging looks super distinct from a distance. It looks pretty good up close too, and I really do love the black on the red. It looks just absolutely fantastic. The cigarette pack itself is pretty decent quality, certainly not bad quality or anything like that kind of thing. It's a budget pack of cigarettes after all. The inside was not a unique look or anything like that, but the actual cigarettes themselves look pretty unique, if I do say so myself. But I definitely have to say that the cigarettes themselves were very disappointing. Pretty decent sized body, pretty decent easy airflow, and I definitely have to say decently smooth as well kind of thing for a full flavored cigarette, that is for sure, but they definitely do not taste very good. This pack of cigarettes right here, the Berley Red full flavored cigarettes, do not taste very good, and I definitely would not buy this pack again, even if I had the opportunity. I would only really smoke this pack of cigarettes again if I absolutely had to. So as such, the rating that I'm going to be giving the Berley Red full flavored cigarettes is going to reflect that. What is the rating I'm thinking, though, for the Berley Red full flavored cigarettes? The rating I'm thinking is going to be pretty negative. I'm thinking a solid 6 out of 10. Really, all of that rating is coming from the packaging, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. But that's pretty much all I had to say about this pack of cigarettes right here, the Berley Red full flavored cigarettes. So as such, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video right here. Thank you very much for watching my review of, well, the Berley Red full flavored cigarettes. As said, the taste of these cigarettes, I think I forgot to really mention the taste when I was giving you guys my final thoughts, but the taste was just a super chemical paper taste, maybe with some tobacco sweetness in there, but mainly the just really bad, nasty not tobacco taste, sorry. The really bad, nasty sort of chemical paper taste. Not a great taste, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Overall, as said, a 6 out of 10, but yeah, those are my final thoughts on, well, this pack of cigarettes right here, the Berley Red full flavored cigarettes. As such, without further ado, I'm gonna go and end this video right here. Thank you very much for watching this video, guys. I certainly hope you guys have enjoyed watching my review of the Berley Red full flavored cigarettes. If you guys have enjoyed watching this review, of course, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content. I have my Instagram, my book, my merch, my P.O. box, and my second channel all in the description down below. You know what I'm saying? Go check it all out. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, y'all. Until the next one, stay safe and peace and have a great one. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying?